This is Andy Bryce of Easy Data Transform, and I'm going to show you how you can handle schema drift in your data files. Schema drift is where the column structure of your data changes over time. For example, columns are added, removed, renamed, or moved to a different position in the column order. This is a frequent occurrence in the real world where we often don't have full control over the data format. So let's use a very simple example to show schema drift and how we can cope with it. Here we have a simple Excel file with columns for first name, last name, ID, email and date of birth. Let's assume we get sent a spreadsheet in this form every Friday and we have to do the same simple transformations to get it in the required format. Note that Easy Data Transform can also handle CSV, JSON, XML and various other formats, but Excel is convenient here. Let's drag the Excel file onto Easy Data Transform. An input item is created. Let's add a sort transform to sort the date of birth in ascending order. Now let's add a dedupe transform to remove any rows with duplicate IDs in the ID column. We can see that 3 rows with duplicate IDs have been removed. And let's output the cleaned up data to a CSV file. And we'll save this transform file to use again. Obviously this is a very simple set of transforms, but it could be something much more complicated. And we can reuse this transform file every time Bob from Accounts sends us a new spreadsheet. But the next spreadsheet Bob sends us has a different column name for the ID column. Notice that it's now called UID instead of ID. As the column is still in the same position, this isn't a problem for Easy Data Transform. Let's load the file with the new column name. So it now says UID, but we're still sorting by the date of birth and deduplicating by the ID column under its new name. The column name output to the CSV has changed, but we can fix that if we want to. But perhaps we don't care. But the next week, Bob decides to change the column order altogether, putting the ID column first. This is now going to cause us a problem. Sort is still sorting by date of birth, but we can see dedupe is now by the last name column instead of the ID column. However, we can easily fix this using a schema. Let's reload the original data file. And set Use Schema to Yes. So now we can set up a schema to tell Easy Data Transform what column names and column ordering we expect. It's imported the column names and ordering and we'll use those. We can use the buttons here if we want to edit the schema, but we'll leave it as it is for now. And then we can tell Easy Data Transform what to do if the column names and ordering are not what we expect. So for missing columns, we can add them in, or we can stop with an error. For out of order columns, we can reorder them, or we can stop with an error. And for additional columns, we can add them to the end, ignore them, or we can stop with an error. Let's go back to the spreadsheet with the moved ID column. Now we can see the ID column's back in its original position. And here we have some warnings that the schema has changed and some information about the changes. And the dedupe transform is again referencing the ID column. So the following week Bob has really excelled himself. As well as changing the position of the ID column, he's also removed the email column and added a new column called Social Security. Let's load this new file. It still copes with this fine. We're still referencing date of birth and ID. Notice that the email column is now empty because the email column was removed. Let's edit our schema to put a placeholder value there. The schema's now set this as the value for missing emails. Or maybe we want to stop with an error if a column is missing. An error is now shown for the input. We can also turn schema validation off. The input now returns to its original ordering. We've demonstrated the use of schemas on a very small data set, but Easy Data Transform can easily handle data sets with millions of rows. Easy Data Transform can also do sophisticated step-by-step data transformation to clean up your data, including joining, filtering, aggregating and deduplicating data sets. Easy Data Transform is available for Windows and Mac. You can download a fully functional free trial from our website. It only takes a few seconds and you don't even have to give us your email address.